What's up, y'all? Winnie here. Welcome back to SCP Foundation Wiki. First off, this was supposed to happen on Monday, but my body was dying a little bit, so I didn't do that. But I wanted to finish the 1500s before the week was over, so it's going to be coming out a little bit late today. Which I mean, in the grand scheme of things, in the future, it's not going to. No one's going to know when I posted this other than the day. Not going to say the time. I don't know. Anyway, I'm rambling. But one more ramble. Does the little talking Wendy in the corner look weird to y'all? Because to me, it looks like it's too small, and I couldn't figure out how to fix it. I don't know. I renamed my folders, and it made the program where he comes from have a stroke, so maybe it is weird. Either way, today we're going to be finishing the 1500s with Out of Time, House Fire, a security blanket, unforeseen setbacks, and broken spy bot. So let's see what's out of time. That is not the. What? What? What just happened? Ah. It opened it in split view. What is split view? I did I didn't know that that was a thing that Firefox had. Anyway, there's supposed to be an ad down here. Is this the whole wiki? Or not wiki, the entry? Anyway, SP-1595 is a Euclid. Foundation agents embedded in archaeological services, media outlets, and intelligence agencies are to identify and isolate possible instances of 1595 in order to limit public exposure to them, with an emphasis on professionals who might identify the historical discrepancies inherent to SP-1595. Portable instances are to be transferred into Foundation custody, while stationary instances are to be documented and deleted. Use of Class C amnestics is authorized when necessary. Alright. Description: SCP-1595 is a series of numbered messages originating from various time periods and locations. The anomalous properties stem from their anachronistic nature. Instances will often be written using methods which should not be available in the time period or location from which they originate, and are always in modern English. 1595 messages are internally serialized, and each instance discovered will follow the one found before it, despite sometimes being written centuries earlier. Additionally, analysis of the handwriting used in SP-1595 messages indicates that they have been composed by the same person, regardless of the aforementioned chronological discrepancies. Of the 67 messages found so far, 53 have been addressed to the same person, an unknown woman named Molly. Of the remaining messages, 3 address a Danny, 2 a Ben, 4 have an unknown addressee, and 5 are mostly illegible. And the addendum is a list of notable instances. Hmm. Origin: chiseled on the inside of the Blank family mausoleum in London in the 1700s that they found in 1920. I know you're out there somewhere, Molly. Come back. It doesn't have to end this way. The mausoleum was sealed after the death of the last of the family. Written in permanent marker on a copy of the Gutenberg Bible recovered from the papal archives. They wrote it in 1453 and they were found it in 1932. You have to let me see them, Molly. They're my kids too, you bitch! The permanent marker was invented in 1952. Inscribed with a ballpoint pen on the margins of blank blanks, Madonna in white. Written at sometime between 1670 and 1690. They found it in 1945. Oh, you're a fast one, I'll give you that. I never could catch up to you, but you're traveling heavy, doll. Inscribed on the walls of a cave in the mountain range somewhere, originally recovered by the Blank expedition. Approximate date of writing 14,000 to 12,000 before Common Era. Recovered in 1948. You're leaving a trail. You can't hide forever, Molly. I know forever like the back of my hand. The message is unique in that it was not written manually. Instead, of a type of laser cutter was used. 14. A blank sheet of paper found in the belongings of someone after her death. It was written in 1830, but recovered in 56. I'm leaving this for you, Danny. I know your mother might not like it, but we'll keep it as our little secret. You always love watching me work in the garage. Blank Blank's death was determined to be a homicide, but the murder weapon was not identified. Contemporary forensic techniques revealed it to be an electric steel saw. Scroll receipt recovered from the Blank Madrasa in Baghdad in 650 to 670, recovered in 1967. It's a good thing I keep those things numbered. God damn it, this temporal bullshit can get confusing. A footnote on a bill published by the Parliament of Flanders, written in 1686 but found in 78. Someone's helping you, Molly. I know it. That's against the rules, doll. You know that. You have to be punished. 48. On the enlistment papers of someone to the British Army, recovered from the Imperial War Museum, written 1912 and found in 86. You went to them? Them, of all people? That takes guts, I'll give you that. It won't be enough, though, not even where you are. Or rather, when you are. They can't protect you. Not ever. Note, the enlistment papers also contain an African Elephant World Wildlife Fund first stamp dating to 2011. 51, etched on a copper plate found in an unmarked tomb in Siberia from 5000 to 4500 BCE. They found it in 1990. Can you hear the ticking, Molly? I hear it all the time nowadays. It was irritating at first, but I got used to it. You'd be surprised at things you can get used to if you have to. Like the cage they must have put you and the kids in. How could you do that to them? In addition to the body, the tomb contained 300 ivory beads, 150 fox teeth, and the remains of a 38 Smith & Wesson special. A bullet belonging to the same firearm was found embedded in the skeleton's femur. And this one was found in 2009, embroidered into the back of a Frankish tapestry recovered from a local collector at Nantes, France. They wrote it 780 to 800. Don't you worry, Ben, Daddy is coming. And then the next one was found on a stone wall in Göbekli Tepe, Turkey, in 11,000 to 10,000 BCE. He's coming real soon. The weird block is covering the bottom of the thing, but this one was also last touched in October of 2022. That one was out of time. So she took the kids and they just been time hopping, and it sounds like he got her, but he's still after the kids. Didn't say anything in the margins about who could be talking about since that weird block was blocking it. There it is again. If you're going to block the article, at least actually have the ad on it, man. So this one is safe. SCP-1596 is to be kept at storage sites somewhere, section R something, and security box 107. Room temperature should remain between 10 and 20 degrees Celsius and 45 to 55% humidity. It used to say all testing involving SCP-1596 must be administered in the presence of at least one level 4 staff member. Now it says all testing is suspended indefinitely pending further investigation by O5. So I guess this is one of those safe ones that's terrifying as long as you don't touch it. Well, it's safe as long as you don't touch it, but it's terrifying if you do. So, SCP-1596 appears as a nondescript matchbox containing something 100 individual matches, all standard in size and appearance. Which was this called? House Fire. Okay. All attempts to track down the origins or manufacturer have yet to yield results, though further investigation by researchers is encouraged. When a match from 1596 is struck alongside the box, it will remain aflame for approximately 26 to 34 seconds, at which point the flame will slowly smolder out. Despite being lit, the matches will exhibit no signs of damage after the flames extinguish, and in fact can be used multiple times without appearing to take any sort of damage. Attempts to light the matches on any object other than 1596 have proven futile, and trying to spread the flames from the match to any other object likewise seems impossible. When a match is lit, the home of the person who lit it, hereafter referred to as subject, has been observed to catch fire at precisely the same time, steadily growing stronger as the match burns before eventually consuming the entire structure. Attempts to subdue or extinguish this fire have proven unsuccessful, though it has been observed that the flames will remain within the structure and not spread to the surrounding environment. The fire will continue to burn until the entire structure and all of its contents, living or non-living, have been destroyed. Ah, and here we have the addendum, and probably how they learned this. The subject was Agent Somebody. The conditions: the subject lives approximately blank miles from site somewhere and was briefed on the nature prior to testing. Her home was emptied of all belongings prior to the experiment. Results: staff assigned to monitor the subject's home confirmed that it caught fire at precisely the same moment she lit a match from 1596. The report shows the fire started on the far left of the second floor. Subject confirmed that this was her bedroom and the room in which she spent most of her time. During the test, subject attempted to light a gasoline-soaked rag with her match. Several attempts at doing so were all met with defeat. Subject was thanked for her cooperation and granted 110% market value of her home as compensation. The flame from the match seems to be sterile in its inability to spread to other substances. Further testing could explore this peculiarity further. Also, it may be that there is a connection between where the fire starts and where the subject spends the majority of his or her time. This may mean that there is no association between the subject's home and SCP-1596 at all. After all, it would make sense that the majority of most subjects' time is spent at home. Dr. Somebody. This seems to be a different agent. Conditions: the subject was flown in from the Foundation's Chinese branch for this experiment. As with Test 1, they were informed of the nature and given time to prepare his home beforehand. Results: subject was recorded attempting to light his match on a variety of substances, including 3 other matchboxes and even an open flame. The match remained unlit, fam, until struck against 1596. Staff assigned to the subject's home confirmed that this fire again began at the exact moment that the match was struck. No deviation between times was recorded. The fire was observed to begin on the right side of the first floor. Subject confirmed this to be his workplace and where he would spend the majority of his time. While the match was lit, subject attempted to light another match from 1596 with it. Despite several attempts, the flame from his match refused to spread before extinguishing. Subject was thanked for his cooperation and granted 110% market value of his home as compensation. Test 2 seems to indicate that the matches will not light by any means other than SCP-1596, and that a match's flame will not spread to any other substance. Furthermore, the distance not has not been observed to play any significant factor in the effect of 1596, and Test 2 seems to add credence to my hypothesis that SCP-1596 is tied to where the subject spends the most time, not where their home is. I can kind of see where this is going. Is this a different agent or the same as Test 1? Conditions. The match is attached to a robotic arm and positioned to strike 1596 on... Sorry, I heard some sort of loud clatter noise happen as I was reading and it distracted me. The subject was placed in a separate room and told to press a button when prompted that would activate the arm and ignite the match. As before, they were warned of the nature and given opportunity to prepare. The staff positioned at the subject's residence did not report any event of a fire. Further investigation showed no sign of fire damage from within. 2 hours later, subject was informed of a house fire at blank blank, his childhood home. Fire patterns were consistent with those found in tests 1 and 2. The fire claimed blank lives, all of which were immediate family members to the subject. Subject was granted indefinite leave for grieving. Upon his return, he revealed that his childhood house was where he always truly felt at home. When asked, he also confirmed that the kitchen, which is where investigation showed the fire began, was the room that first came to mind when he thought of his old home. Subject's requests for amnestics that would block his memory participating in Test 3 were denied. Subject was instead enrolled into counseling at Foundation's Psychiatric Center. We still can't rule out the possibility that the house fire was coincidental, and that SCP-1596 simply doesn't work when it's not used directly. Still, when you see hoof prints, think horses, not zebras. Seems to be that 1596 might possess some sort of telepathic abilities to sense where the subject feels most at home, which would negate my previous theories. More testing is going to be needed, but I'm going to petition for SCP-1596 to be reclassified as Euclid until further notice. 05 notice. All testing and experimentation involving SCP-1596 is suspended indefinitely pending further review of its nature. Request for reclassification will likewise be evaluated. So I guess the reason they decided to be like, hey, let's not test this anymore, it's because, okay, the first time they struck the match, it burnt the house like we expected. Second time, same thing. Third time, it burnt where he considered home, not where his home actually was. Ergo, this cannot be tested to remain a thorough byline of testing. I don't know which words I actually want. Point is, there's no telling what it would actually light on fire if they continue testing it like that. Probably if they started using it on disposable dudes instead of agents, it would start burning down Foundation facilities. One test they probably could have done, though, what they could have done was to give somebody amnestics and then have them strike a match and see what happens. Because if they have no memory of anywhere they could consider home before striking the match, then they could probably prove once and for all how the match is deciding what to do with that. But whoever wrote this article did not consider that. And it, once again, October 2022. So, moving on to a security blanket. The security blanket is Euclid, which implies they can't actually contain it. SCP-1597 is to be kept in Containment Chamber 246 and Site 23 at all times unless it is being used for testing in Testing Chamber 523. If possible, the object's active state should be observed solely by camera recording due to its aversion to humans. Okay. When personnel successfully manage to start conversation with the object, they are to utilize casual tone. Research is currently underway to discover methods by which 1597 can be forced into its active state. If the object resists interaction, testing, or attempts to escape, it is to be doused with water. Paperweights have been placed directly outside of the object's containment area in order to immobilize it during testing. SCP-1597 is a wool blanket measuring 2 by 1 meters. The object can be used comfortably as a non-anomalous blanket. However, if used for more than approximately 10 minutes at a time, a high-pitched crying will emanate from the object and continue until it is able to enter into an active state. 1597's active state consists of the object becoming animate and autonomously moving through levitation. During this active state, it displays signs of sapience and an aversion to most subjects that are older than approximately 10 years of age and will often cease animation if such a subject approaches it. However, through repeated exposure and tactfulness, Dr. Blank and Agent Blank have been successful in gaining its trust and communicating with it. For the purposes of coaxing the object into conversation, the aforementioned personnel are allowed to refer to the object with its stated name, Zoe, as well as maintaining a slightly more casual tone when addressing it. A begin log. Hello, Zoe. Hello, Mrs. Whatever her name is. How are you doing today? Object moves in a circular formation approximately 1 meter off the ground before returning to the doctor. That's how I feel today. That's excellent, Zoe. Are you ready to talk about why you didn't usually like grown-ups today? Or don't usually like grown-ups today? Remain stationary for approximately 30 seconds before vocalizing. Maybe just a little. I don't like them because they took me away. They're bad people. Took you away from what, sweetie? Everything but. I'm sorry. I mean, Mrs. Blank. That's okay. That's okay. What did they do? Object once again remains stationary for approximately 2 minutes. I don't know. I shut my eyes because it was scary. All I saw were a bunch of people in coats like yours that were all around me, and I just shut my eyes and I think I fell asleep. I heard a lot of whispering though, and a lot of cold metal things touching my arms and legs. I woke up and I couldn't see myself no more. All I had was my blanket. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Hey, you guys wouldn't do anything like that to me, would you? Of course not, Zoe. I'm glad. Well, I think that's all for today. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, I love you. Closing statement. The doctor reportedly preemptively powered off the recording device due to the fact that she believed the session to be over and nothing of importance occurred after the cessation of the log. These statements were confirmed by the security personnel present. Uh, Researchers note. Due to the risk of causing 1597 to become completely unresponsive and mistrustful towards all Foundation personnel, including myself and Agent Blank, I hereby request no unnecessary testing other than interviews take place at the current time. Dr. Adelaide Blank. Site Director's note granted. Site Director Roger Langley. Addendum 1597 he. Doctor and Agent Blank were confirmed to be dead uh, when SCP Blank reached containment. When informed that these personnel would not be returning, 1597 became unresponsive and did not enter into an active state for 2 weeks. Though it was constantly reassured that Doctor and Agent Blank will be coming back at any time, the object refused to interact with any other personnel and repeatedly demanded to see the aforementioned people. During this time, constant sobbing matching the voice of 1597 was heard emanating from the object when no personnel were attempting to interact with it. This behavior continued for double-digit months. After this, anytime personnel entered into its containment chamber during the object's active phase, it would cease animation and resist all attempts at communication. Site Director notes. Okay, so I guess that one is she, because this one is key. Due to the low likelihood of regaining SCP-1597's trust, testing has hereon been approved for the purposes of forcing it into an active state, revealing the origin of its anomalous properties, and researching the methods by which the object operates. Okay, so Roger Langley's an asshole. Addendum key. After experimentation on the object commenced at some point in 2000 something, 1597 began animating in order to move itself away from personnel, usually in the upper parts of its containment chamber while emitting high-pitched noises. Through trial and error, it was determined that liquids, especially water, were effective in disrupting the object's ability to levitate. Furthermore, the object was shown to have little physical strength when active and was able to be subdued with paperweights. As such, containment procedures have been modified. Yeah, screw Site Director Roger Langley. I feel like they'd have done better telling the blanket what actually happened instead of lying about it. It wouldn't have, I don't know if it would have made the blanket trust them anymore, but it would have probably helped and been better than let's douse it in water and hold it down with paperweights and force it to talk like our other doctor promised we would not do. And it's still, they're considering it Euclid. There was unforeseen setbacks. Also Euclid. That leads to Site 48. So, SCP-1598 is to be contained at Cell 14 at Research Site 45. The cell is to be lined with high-density rubber with a thickness of 30 centimeters. Floor is to be graded as to facilitate the disposal of waste from SCP-5098. The cell is to have an automatic antiseptic wash feature capable of cleaning the surrounding walls, grating, and itself every 8 hours. Only disposable dues are permitted to enter the cell. 1598 is to undergo regular bi-weekly X-ray scans. Necrotic appendages will need to be amputated as needed. Cancerous tumors will also require extraction whenever identified. Samples of the visceral fluids will need to be taken once a week and remitted to the assigned level 2 staff member. It is to be force fed a nutrient rich slurry every 6 hours. The gastric feeding tube will need to be inserted directly into the stomach through the abdominal area. Repositioning of the feeding tube will be required whenever a new stomach appears. Okay. SCP 1598 requires 24-hour surveillance. Behaviors including aggressive provocation, uh, coprophagy, deliberate self harm, or any suspicious behavior are to be deterred using electric shock weaponry. Any habits involving 1598 spreading its fecal matter against the cell's interior walls are to be reported to level 2 staff before being washed clean. Conventional lethal weaponry is not allowed in Cell 14. In the event of a breach, it is to be approached and suppressed using incapacitance foam dispensers and long range electric shock weapons only. Description: SCP-5098 is an organism measuring 4.5 meters in length, 3.9 meters in height when standing, and weighing approximately 5.2 tons. It displays physical and genetic characteristics of limantrids, aphanids, tulicids, habitids, chlorophyculidids, brillids, and hominids in various stages of maturity. Tussock moths, honeybees, mosquitoes, gadflies, earwigs, crickets, and primates, specifically humans. Ew. Apart from limbs, the surface is covered with irregular layers of chitinous plates, skin, urticating bristles, male/female genitalia, barbs, teeth, antennae/cirri, coarse hair, prehensile tongues, and occasionally underdeveloped wings. 1598 appears to possess both an incomplete exoskeleton and endoskeleton, though both seem to function well when used in conjunction. It has no discernible head, but is seen to possess a multitude of eyes and oral/anal cavities of variable size across its body. SCP-1598 consistently generates various appendages and internal organs at a rapid rate. This rapid and uncontrollable growth is also balanced by a form of circulatory uh, apoptosis, as extremity/internal organs may only last for a few weeks before succumbing to a vascular necrosis. These growths appear to have no symmetrical pattern and appear intermittently. Ingrown appendages have also been observed, as well as vice versa for internal organs. 1598 has been observed to be extremely aggressive to staff equipped with weapons. It has also exhibited this aggressiveness towards automated suppression systems. During altercations, it has shown an absolute refusal to submit to any attempt at conventional suppression to the point of threatening its own life. Tranquilizers, psychoactive medication, and amnestic drugs appear to have no effect on it. To date, 1598 has breached containment 3 times. When in an agitated state, it will use its defensive attributes as well as its excessive strength and size in order to combat personnel. Over time, it has grown increasingly docile since living in captivity and has been observed to remain stationary for days when left undisturbed. I'm noting that this says level 2 access and this says level 4 access. So, let's see. Additional measures. All messages created are to be recorded as they are reported. All attempts made to communicate with specific personnel are to be investigated as to uncover any former relations. Personnel exposed to these behaviors of 1598 will need to be debriefed immediately afterward. The use of amnestic drugs on Foundation personnel assigned to 1598 are to be at the discretion of Level 2 staff. Personnel assigned to 1598 should be selectively screened by hire dates prior to October 30th, 2009. Under no circumstance are personnel from Lab 6 or who have previously worked in Lab 6 permitted to be assigned to 1598. All samples from it are to be sent for external testing to the Foundation's head genetics department. Standard protocols for transporting anomalous biologic materials are to be followed. Suicidal tendencies or requests exhibited by 1598 are to be recorded and examined by an appropriately qualified on-site psychologist. The following are selected samples of writings created by 1598 in chronological order. Let me out. Indecipherable as lying. Not my fault. The burden is too much. My life over. Oh god, kill me, kill me, kill me, kill me. Just do it already. And what's level 4? Employee profile 1057499. Name Dr. Herbert Wimble, PhD. Employee number 1057499. Clearance level 2. Status deceased. Position NA. Work client. Link removed. Current assignment NA. Background deleted. Revision history. Voted for insubordination. Ah, okay, a few things. Addendum 1. All personal effects and files related to Dr. Wimble's work are to be stored in the Lab 6 vault at Research Site 45. Project SAMSA has been approved to continue under Level 3 administration despite unforeseen setbacks caused by Dr. Wimble. Sampling of 1598 will continue until the missing sequences are found. Messages written by 1598 related to former colleagues or possible evidence regarding intentions or missing work related to Project SAMSA are to be investigated further. Afterwards, SP-1598 may be allowed to depreciate at its own natural pace. Okay. In light of the two containment breaches caused by 1598, Dr. Wimble's effects and files are to be moved to the high security vault in the archival warehouse of Site 45. Any items or files possibly relating to Project SAMSA are to be investigated off-site by the Foundation's head genetics department. The extensive damage to Lab 6 and the adjacent offices caused by 1598 will necessitate personnel and equipment to be temporarily assigned to Labs 5 and 7 until investigators discover the item of 1598's apparent interest. Addendum 2-1. SCP-1598's latest containment breach has caused structural damage to the archival warehouse and the high security vault. It was successful in gaining access to the vault, but proved to be extremely frustrated and uncooperative afterwards. Since these altercations, 1598's health has deteriorated significantly, which has seriously compromised the quality of sampling. It is to be placed on an aggressive antibiotic regimen and to be administered adrenaline whenever necessary. Life monitoring systems will be required from this point out until improvement is seen in sample quality. Notes: the following are selected samples of writing created by SCP-1598 in chronological order that are considered to be sensitive information. Doctor, he put it in me, to hide it, to protect it. I didn't want it, so he had to die. I can fix this. He had a cure. Where is it? Where did you put it? Why did you move Indecipherable? You idiots! Okay, so it sounds like they were working on something, and this doctor, who was really bad at his job, did something to what apparently used to be a person, and the person just wants to be cured of it, but they keep hiding the cure, and so it's mad at them. Says Alive B Euclid Foundation made genetic humanoid insect SCP, October 21st, 2022. Uh-huh. And that brings us to Broken Spybot. The end of the 1500s, and it claims to be safe. SP-1599 is to be kept in a 3x3x3 meter in reinforced concrete vault within a Faraday cage. Except for authorized testing, all personnel touching it must wear CBRN rated gloves to prevent any possibility of skin contact. The door to the containment must have no internal access to its lock. All personnel assigned to it must successfully complete 4 hours of training in perception and comprehension of accelerated speech. All of 1598's vocalizations are to be recorded, transcribed, and analyzed. Its dormancy periods last exactly 11 hours and 14 minutes, and a premature emergence from dormancy is to be reported to Site Command. Description: SCP-1599 is a smooth black ceramic disc 30 centimeters in diameter and 15 centimeters thick. Although ultrasonic and radiographic examination indicate that 1599 is a solid ceramic, it is the creation of an anomalously high level of technological development. In addition to several capacities which are at present only theoretically possible, it contains a hostile intelligence which is actively engaged in espionage. The danger posed by this intelligence is lessened but not eliminated by the substantial damage it experienced prior to being taken into custody by the Foundation. In particular, it does not know who it is supposed to spy on or on whose behalf. SCP-1599 is able to gain knowledge of any individual whose skin touches its surface. The mechanism and extent of this ability are as yet undetermined. However, it will use any knowledge it requires to try to convince personnel to assist it in escaping. Direct physical contact is not advised except under testing conditions. SCP-1599 is able to produce ultra-high resolution life-size holograms of humans, which can animate in real time to portray any action it desires. Although the majority of these humans are entertainers and other public figures, Subject has demonstrated that it is able to create holograms based on Foundation personnel whom it encounters, and that it is willing to use these holograms in attempts at blackmail and/or psychological manipulation. However, the holograms are, as a result of the damage that it experienced, flawed, and that either their skin tone is lemon yellow, their eyes are missing, or both. 1599 is able to extend 6 mechanical legs and the broken stumps of 3 other mechanical legs. The intact legs are 22 centimeters long and highly articulated. Each leg is tipped with a 5 2 centimeter long talons. These talons can grip at least strongly enough to pierce cloth and break skin. It has demonstrated that it is able to run at speeds of 4 meters per second, although due to its missing legs, it cannot sustain this speed for more than 3 seconds without falling, and to perform feats of dexterity ranging from picking locks to tying and untying shoelaces to rolling cigarettes to shuffling cards. Note, 1599's offer to demonstrate its ability to load a gun has been rejected, as its offer to demonstrate its ability to use a garrote, or garrote. I assume it's garrote wire. When the legs are retracted, they are undetectable. SCP-1599 is able to see and hear despite not having any discernible mechanisms with which to do so, and to speak in 30 languages, see Addendum E14 for a list of languages, which is not here. However, it has, apparently as a result of the damage it experienced, lost the ability to sub-vocalize its thoughts, and instead provides a constant spoken commentary of its observations, conclusions, and short and long-term intentions. It does not seem to be aware that it is doing this. After 40 hours and 19 minutes of operation, 1599 expresses the need to sleep and enters a dormant state for exactly 11 hours and 14 minutes. During this time, it is safe to handle the object for examination purposes, but direct contact should still be avoided. Upon emerging from its dormancy, 1599 vocalizes an entry into its internal systems log. Entry counts the number of dormancy cycles since it entered Foundation custody, affirms that 1599 is not worthless, and that its superiors have neither abandoned it nor written it off as destroyed, and documents that the status of its constant search for a broadcast signal by which it can recalibrate its damaged programming. Note: although the information gleaned from 1599's sub-vocalizations have allowed us to thwart blank 100 escape attempts and blank 100 attempts to kill Foundation personnel, please remember that the only thing we know for sure is that its purpose is to deceive and subvert. So yeah, that seems to be the whole thing, and it was last edited on October the 1st of 2022. 1,405 days ago as of me recording this. And so ends the 1500s. Now, I had said previously, for the 1600s, since it would be episode 350 for whatever the next episode ends up being, whether or not I wanted to attempt to have the entirety of the 1600s be a single episode. If I did that, I don't know how long it would take to record it. I don't know how long it would take to get the rendering done. I don't even know if my computer would allow me to do that at all. But if that's something people would like to see me attempt to do, I'm willing to try. But I am going to record it in pieces and splice them together for the sake of simplicity, so that if it turns out I cannot turn 100 SCP entries into a single video without my computer exploding, then I can still upload it in individual pieces. Because realistically, after a certain point, splicing them together is going to probably become impossible. So at best case scenario, I succeed at doing 100 entries in one video, and it's ridiculously long, but it will be there. Slightly less best case scenario, it'll be as long as the last time I did a super episode, like 30 entries or so. But I don't know. If nothing else, I have it set up to be recorded in the style of individual episodes so that I can splice them together, but if I don't splice them together, then it'll still be individual episodes I can upload normally. I do kind of want some input on it before I start trying to splice it together, so that's why I'm asking again now, to let me know in the comments if you think I should attempt to do this monstrosity of an SCP video, or just do it a regular extra long one, or just do a bunch of normal ones. So, if you like, in the meantime, if you like this video, a like and a subscribe would be groovy. If you want to click the bell, you can do that as well so that you're notified of future uploads, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.